And we're live. Hello, folks.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I think we're live over on YouTube as well.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I think I hooked that up.
We'll go check it out after the crowdcast and see if it worked.
Yeah, we'll see. So other than that, hello, folks. We have some folks on. We've lost one. We will goof off for 5 minutes here, waiting for folks to show up. We got notified that we've got online for this beginning, how to have a collaborative political conversation. But first of all, it will be a beginning act ProSocial matrix training. So
every Monday, back to basics.
Back to basics. Always start back to basics. If you want to do ninja training, it's always back to basics.
First move. Practice first move. Many, many, many times. So, we got a few people showing up already. Matt in Asheville is with us again. Shane, Iowa. Kevin's up there in Maine. I'm down here in Bucks County. We both were talking about, we had a big storm blow through here and high winds knocked some power out for a while. But we seem to have come through it okay.
Yes. I changed the thing. So it says special crowdcast, or I should say crowdcasts.
Yes.
Begin December
the 2nd, I think we said.
December
right?
the 2nd. Oh, I'll say okay. December 2, 2020. There we go. So we'll have the first of the ninja training.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Which will be fun. There we go. 5 people on. A lot of people signed up, obviously, for the recording.
Very convenient.
Which is okay. That's all right. But at least a few people here is great that you do show up.
Right.
So you can respond to our questions, which is nice.
We like to ask questions and have people respond. It's fun.
Yeah. 103, a couple of more minutes and we'll take off. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We got Iowa, Maine, Pennsylvania, Asheville, probably North Carolina.
Yep.
And anybody else? Oh, now we got 2 more. So if you'll type in them where you're from, like especially state or country or Mexico. All right.
Mexico.
I like it when the folks come in from exotic places like New Mexico. I've been there a few times in my life.
I haven't been to Arizona. I got down there. I was down there for a while. Not New Mexico.
Yeah, I'm driven through there. I actually
wanted to get to New Mexico. I didn't get there.
I could have gone to graduate school in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go. Got accepted there, but I didn't go. Santa Fe is really cool. They got great Mexican food. You can tell my preferences. Texas, New Mexico. Balloon Fiesta is beautiful. Yeah. That's right. See the calendars of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, gorgeous.
Definitely. And anybody else? There's 7 people. Say where you're from. It's always fun to see where people come in from. We're not international today, which is unusual.
Yeah.
We usually have somebody from Canada or Great Britain.
Yeah, Netherlands.
Yeah.
We
105. Okay.
So
we start. New York. New York.
Okay, here we go. Andrew from New York. Nice.
Hello, Andrew. So New York, that's a big place. Even New York City is a big place.
Oh, man.
With the rest. I've been all over New York. So,
yeah, we get up there. I haven't been up there for a while, but regular
when
destination place to go hang.
I remember I did for Pessy, I did Buffalo, and then I went across to Syracuse, and then I went up to Albany. God darn, that was a lot of driving.
Yeah, sure is.
A lot of stuff.
All doing Thanksgiving in the age of COVID. Yes.
Yeah, well, we were staying close
right here.
That's how we're doing that.
Yeah, I'm doing from the comfort of my home. And
So,
probably a couple of virtual gatherings here or there.
Well, yeah, you do the virtual stuff, definitely. But got vaccines on the way. We're gonna play it cool.
Yep.
And
Got this far.
Wait for the vaccines. And so here we go.
Me too. There you go. Right.
So this is beginning. So before we talk about anything else, we're going to do the point of view.
Let's just go.
And then this is Matrix talk. So we use this point of view to have all of our conversations. And Phil will hold it up. And you'll see it has a vertical line and a horizontal line. We won't worry too much about those right now. We'll just concentrate on the lower right-hand quadrant and the question, who is important to you? And so we all get to type in, if you're willing, like who's important to you. So I just put my wife in there as someone who is important to me.
Yeah,
and we have children and children, double children. All right.
Lots of kids.
That's cool. Boss.
The boss
is important. There we go.
Okay.
We can do others. Grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
Here, I'll have a little fun today. I'll put my goats in there.
Oh, very nice.
The clients, like 50 clients, right? Yeah. I have goats and they have names. Dumbledore and Neville. And you don't have to think very hard to come where
Kevin's been influenced from.
Yeah, well, especially my wife is a major Harry Potter fan. So, but also to point out that pets, they're just a couple of pets really, but pets and such can also get into that quadrant, lower right-hand quadrant. So and that's what you do. You have a conversation.
Have a conversation and you just write them down. Just
with folks about who's important to them, and most people enjoy talking about. And yourself, you put a question mark, but you can put you as important if you want. Sure.
Let's put me.
You can. Yeah, we oftentimes use me as who's important.
My kids will often say that to me. I'm important. Okay, cool.
There you go. All right. And now after we do that, then we bebop over to the lower left-hand quadrant, and we talk about the stuff that shows up inside of people that doesn't feel good. Stuff like fear is the example we most often use first. From a very early age, fear is there with you, and it shows up and it doesn't feel good. You want to do something. Anxiety, Andrea says anxiety.
Yep, anxiety
shows up inside of you, and that doesn't feel good. That's yucky. We call it yucky stuff.
Yeah, powerless.
We love that technical language, yucky. But powerlessness does not feel good. No. You want to get away from that. Overwhelmed.
Yes.
Very popular in COVID land, feeling overwhelmed. But tired is a biggie in COVID land. So sort of, a fatigue, sort of the kind of tired.
Fatigued.
It doesn't feel good. Never wore out. Right. It doesn't feel good. Not a satisfying kind of tired.
Yeah.
What else we got? Anger is popular over there, folks. As something
yes.
People don't like having. There's many others that can show up over there.
But these are our popular bunch here.
Very popular. We don't have any of the sad ones, so put a sad in there.
Yeah, let's put some sadness in here.
People, they don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling sad.
Yeah.
Feeling insignificance. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's powerful. Defeated. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These are very
okay. We are rolling them out now.
Very intense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are those two quadrants, and now we're going to go up. And when we go up, we go into the world of observable behaviors. So the senses are up there. Worried, and threw worried in there.
Oh yeah, okay. We're going to get that in here.
Put in there, right?
Thanks.
And since we're going straight up to the upper left, what it is things that you do to try and reduce or even totally get rid of those yucky feelings. So fear is isolate. There you go. Or run away. Right. Those are very popular. And then we had quite a list.
Yeah, anxiety. What might people do for anxiety?
Andrew, what might you do to reduce feelings of insignificance?
Oh, yeah.
What might one do? It doesn't have to be you. It can be anybody.
Someone you know.
Act like you don't care.
Check out.
I like it. Teenagers are good at that, aren't they?
Sure, yeah. I don't
check out. I like that. Check out. Right. Observable behavior of checking out. Yeah. And just remember, these are all observable behaviors.
Okay, so you could do that.
Think is not. See, that's not observable.
Yeah, but
so that goes down below the line. By the way,
put that down.
You can do that, but it goes below the line.
We're putting that down here.
We put it down below as an inside loop.
Think.
Making a list. Oh, that's very popular.
When in doubt, make a list.
Behavior.
Make a list. I'll put that up there.
Make a list is definitely.
That'll work.
Those are very popular as well.
Reduce things.
And for anxiety,
healthy relationships, right?
What do people do for anxiety? You guys have missed some of the most. Complain is good. They do a lot of that. Meds are good. Drugs are good.
Drugs.
How about try OCD Santa? Making my list and checking it twice. Yeah. Everybody spot that little tiny OCD symptom in Santa.
Oh yeah, right.
But how about wine, the WINE kind, and shop and shop and buy wine and drink.
Watch TV, watch Netflix.
Netflix is another one. Watch some Netflix, right? And you'll notice we are not dissing on these behaviors. They are stuff that we all do every day. YouTube rage videos. Ooh,
rage videos.
I'll have to pick some of those up.
Yeah. Cool.
Be fun. Right. So there we go. All kinds of good stuff that are away moves, and that is the intention. The reason you're doing them is to get some relief from that yucky feeling stuff down there, and we do it. It's absolutely part of life. And then the final category that we go into is the upper right, and that is the stuff that we do with the intention of moving toward who's important to us. So, like for my wife, I might give her a call. Call my wife. Right, comes to mind. What might you? Some of you folks put children in there. What might you do to move toward children?
Play.
Exactly. They like to play.
Yes, right.
Did we get mom in there? We didn't get mom in the lower part. Let's put mom.
Hey,
mom in the lower part. What do you do? What do you do with mom or for mom?
Move toward your mom. Could be anything. Nice, easy thing.
Oh, yeah, we like the easier the better. Playing special 101.
Call her. There you go.
Call mom. There we go. That's what I was getting at. Call mom. There we go. Communicate. Keep them in the loop. There we go.
There you go. Communicate.
All kinds of stuff. Well, there's like, you might, for most any of those people that ask for support. There we go. For the ones where it's appropriate for you to do, you can give them a hug. Hugs are nice. toward moves for your kids and spouses and such. Yeah, people that are in your COVID loop are
in your pod, as we say.
We always have to modify that these days.
Yep.
But
your designated COVID pod.
You listen to folks. That is one of the most biggie. Hey, we got to get on that kind of stuff. Show respect.
Listen.
Show respect. Folks.
Yeah, show respect. All right. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Right. Great way to show respect, by the way, is at all times, if possible, answer the question that you're asked.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not kidding. I mean, how many times? I mean, this is just as I editorialize folks in my life, as I've watched people, then one person ask another person a question, and it's an answerable question.
Yeah.
I understand that people can ask you left field questions.
Yeah. How about like, do you like X?
Right. Do you like potatoes?
Yeah. Do you like peas or carrots?
And then the person goes about not answering the question.
Right. at length.
At length, right. They go on and on and on about not answering. And by the way, folks, just because I've done it, that's a way of disrespecting somebody. Yeah. Of not asking the simple question that they ask of you. So just remember, there's something. I happened to pop on the news recently, and just within just moments that happened where somebody asked somebody a simple question, and they never answered it.
No, I saw that. I saw one of those too, and then the news person became hooked very quickly after that. Right. You're not answering my question.
Well, and that's because it's a form of disrespect. Right. It's just so we get back into a way of listening and also answering, and the basic discourse that you do with folks is very important, and that's about moving toward them, right? Because they're important.
Up that context here when we're doing that.
While you're still making a scene in line. Yes. Oh, now we're getting political.
Yeah.
But anyways, just that. And so once you have all that mapped out with somebody, you didn't say, well, here smack dab in the middle, we'll put a word called notice or noticing, whichever one was. And we'll say, do you think you'll have the opportunity to notice who's important to you and yucky stuff in a way moves and toward moves showing up in your life in the next month or so? What do you think? Think you'll have the opportunity to notice any of that stuff showing up?
Someone type in. Yes, Matt.
There we go.
Yes. It's quite likely.
Great. And if you do, great. And if you don't, that's okay too.
Right.
And now we go to we're just going to do another loop, but a quick one. Awesome. So simple. But so we're going to do another one, and it's called the shared purpose loop. So we switched the question in the lower right to what's our shared purpose. This means that on the first loop, you're really talking to one person. I'm talking to
this is the me.
You. Whereas when we go to the second one, we're talking about you and somebody else. There's more than one of us and so then we ask, what's our shared purpose? What are we working on together? So like today, well, I know what understanding others' opinions. There we go. There's a shared purpose.
We're going to put that down.
That is a shared purpose for today, given we are going to have collaborative political conversations. Yes.
Anything else?
Finding common
ground. There you go.
Very cool. Very cool. That is a shared purpose. Solving important problems. Yeah. There you go. These are shared purposes that
And we will write them down just as
and you'll write them down. Now, when it comes to shared purposes, folks, there's no guarantee everybody will agree on the shared purpose.
No.
But at least they're thinking of that.
Everybody gets a say.
Everybody gets a say on the shared purpose.
Yeah.
And, let's say you have a spouse or a loved one, somebody you're co-creating with. What might you do as in a couple when you're coupled up with somebody? What might be a shared purpose? Husband, wife, or
shared purpose of a couple.
Shared purpose.
Raise children. There you go.
That's sort of what makes the world go around, isn't it? Yep. No babies, we don't keep going.
We need a few of them. Keep things moving. Support each other. There we go.
Support each other. There we go. Take care of one another. That's the kind of thing, right? And one reason to stay ship is to clear. You're preaching to the choir there, Andrew. We know.
You got it. Yep.
Right.
Unaware is the big word.
We actually know that this is an unasked question.
Yeah.
This is the biggie. Now, the rest of they really they're the same stuff as the previous loop. You just lean them toward shared purpose. So what kind of yucky stuff shows up in working with others toward a shared purpose? Well, guess what? As soon as you start working with other people, yucky stuff shows up.
Oh.
Maybe I'm misspeaking. Maybe the people on today, frustration. Matt has noticed frustration showing up when working with other people. That is a very popular. Self-doubt is a very popular one as well. Annoyance is very popular. See, these are you must be familiar.
It's always interesting to me how quickly these come out in the ProSocial matrix game.
And then we get the standard anger comes out. Yay! And
it's like immediate.
It was again. This is just part of life. This happens.
Feeling disrespected
by kids, partner, supervisors, and that's what I was getting at when somebody doesn't answer your direct question. You quickly feel disrespected.
Yep. Unheard.
Right.
That's it.
And
dismissed, that kind of.
Oh, I don't like to be dismissed.
Yeah, we're going to put that down.
That'll get you hooked.
I'm feeling a little dismissed right about now.
Yeah.
And then there we go.
See, there we go. Very nice.
Yep.
And then, same thing, it's a way moves to reduce that yucky stuff, but this time it's in the context of you're working with other folks,
right?
So if you feel dismissed, what might you do to reduce that feeling of dismissed? Check out.
There we go again.
There's steamroll. That's the other. So those are the two extremes.
Yeah.
Steamroll or check
offensive, right? Steamroll.
Yeah. It's either total offense or total defense.
Yes.
Right. And so argue. It's a nice one.
Yeah.
Argue, you bet. Yeah. Jump up and down and stomp your feet. How's that? That's nonverbal, right, Phil?
Yeah. Stomping is good.
Stopping. Another great checkout, explain, or just logically explain as a toward move. Okay, there you go.
You could.
In this day and age, a lot of people flip out their phone and go on their phone.
Oh, there's a word for that. It's called fubbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that
somebody by just going on the phone?
PH fubbing or F?
PH PHUBBing.
Oh, that teaches them, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, he's just fubbing. I'm fubbing you. Fubbing you on my scroll.
Ignore. Right, but see, fubbing with a phone is more. It's an aggressive ignore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's an ignore with panache.
Exactly. Ignoring with panache. they're saying fub you. Exactly.
That's
I get
exactly
where the
right. You
fubbing
got it.
comes from. I understand.
Yeah, that is exactly why they call it a fubbing game.
Yeah, I've been
You
around
said
the
you're
block
right.
a few times. I got that pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
So, but this is the stuff that shows, all kinds of stuff. In work settings, people don't show up to work. They call in sick.
Yeah.
They quit.
Just don't come. Or leave early. That's another one. Just
Leave early. Right. All kinds of stuff that people do. And you talk about all that, da 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 da. And then finally, of course, the $1 million question is, what are the behaviors that we're all going to do to try and accomplish the shared purpose, right? And there's a discussion.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're just going to be carrying water, it might be pretty easy. Yeah. But stay calm. Stay calm. Calm is a good way.
Yeah,
that's nice. Look calm, even if you're not. Look
calm. Appear calm.
Appear to be calm. And it does help to compromise. Ooh. Boy, people have trouble with that, don't they?
Ooh.
I always loved it. If anybody ever saw, and by now I understand that it has flaws, but the old Shelby Foote in the Civil War series for back when they did it, very famous document.
Oh, yeah. Ken something or other.
Ken Burns.
Yeah.
But Shelby was sitting there one time. He wrote the whole history of the Civil War. And I mean it, he just wrote the history. He didn't take sides. He just wrote it. It was great.
Here's what happened.
He said everybody was saying they couldn't compromise in his wonderful Southern accent. He said the whole country was founded on compromise.
Yeah.
It's supposed to compromise. So always, whenever people note compromise, I remember seeing Shelby saying that. It was like, yeah, the country is built on compromise. So collab meets all da 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 da. Yeah, and collaborate is another thing, and that's in our title of our thing today, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, so we got all that sort of, and then we do the notice thing again. We'll go to the middle and we say, hey, do you think any of us have the opportunity to notice shared purpose showing up and yucky stuff showing up and away moves showing up and doing behaviors toward the shared purpose showing up in the next month or so? What do you think? That says quite possibly. There you go. You might notice that stuff showing up. You might not too, but you might notice it. And those are the two loops around the matrix. Now we start everything we do doing that, folks. And
which is a question that we get very often, which is, well, how do you start? Or I want to do this with this group, or I want to do this with these people. How would you start?
And we would say, do the two loops.
Do the two loops.
Literally. That's what we would do. We would say, start with that. Now, we'll get on Fridays, we get into a little bit more of the theoretical stuff of
philosophy behind it.
Philosophy and sort of the science, behind the why that works so well. But well, you don't even have to take it on faith. Just do it. Try it out. Try doing two loops and go from there and see what happens. And but just know that Phil and I would be considered probably like extreme experts on this. And if we went into any situation, we would do the two loops.
Be armed with the two loops.
We establish that point of view first. And the reason is, that one of the reasons, quickly, because now you know that we're probably going to be talking about who's important to folks. And we're probably going to be talking about shared purposes.
Yep.
Who's important in shared purposes. And of course, a lot of times those two things get mixed up together.
Co-occur, as it
co-occurring, right? things happen with those two, and so we're establishing that that's the kind of conversation that we're going to have. And so now you look up there how to have collaborative political conversations. Well, we would say first, establish that your point of view, your baseline.
Here's your point of view.
Is to start talking from what the things we do for the people who are important to us, and the stuff we do to at least give a good old try at accomplishing shared purposes, right? And that's what we're about. That's going to be the point of view of our conversation. What does that change when you start there, folks? When you start a political conversation, and that becomes
from the point of view of who's important to you and what's the
who's important, and shared purpose become the anchor points for your side, at least your side of the conversation. Right. They know that you're going to go back there.
Yep.
And if they don't know, they're going to find out.
They're going to find out. Yeah. You've stated your intentions up front.
Because I'm going to go right back there.
Right.
So how might, in the usual discourse that you hear, let's say out on I don't know, out in a public forum or something, mm-hmm. What do you hear differently?
How those conversations usually start. Let's put it that way.
There's a difference.
Yeah, and you could notice it.
I do all the time.
Oh, absolutely. I'm right because
Kevin, you are very astute.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was going to say.
Got it.
Not quite like that, but I like it that way of saying it. They start with I'm going to be right, or I'm going to win this and you're going to lose this.
Yep. I'm going to be right, which implies you are in fact
wrong. And then the next step from that is I'm going to win and you're going to lose.
Right.
And so these are known as win-lose conversations.
Yeah.
So let's just abbreviate them: win-lose. And they occur all around, all the time. That you end up with win-lose conversations.
Yeah.
You do. Well, if I'm talking about who's important to me, who's important to you, and I'm going to listen about that, and what's some shared purposes that we might agree on to work together on, what kind of conversation is that? What did I quickly establish as the conversation? Collaborative, and to use my lingo before, win-win. So the easy way to think of it, or one, collaborative is a great word, and don't get me wrong. I use the word in the title.
Right.
But what you see out there, and no reason getting into why, but it's win-lose.
Yeah.
Right. We end up somehow getting into these win-lose conversations a lot.
Yeah. And then people dig their trenches.
Well, once it starts that way. So, so then this is, and Phil and I don't do it as rocket science, folks. No. We do it as this very simple thing that, okay, well, in these conversations like this, I'm constantly thinking about who's important to me and what's our shared purpose, including, sitting here with you.
Yeah.
What's our shared purpose? What do we somebody used the term common ground.
Right.
What common ground might we approach this from? And literally to say something like that, mm-hmm. and even psychological flexibility, that's
right.
it.
That's
right. And so what we're running toward is psychological flexibility. Right. Because we can feel the inflexibility showing up. Once you go win-lose, once you go into a battle, the flexibility is,
well, you tell us, where's your flexibility when you get into a win?
Where is your flexibility when you go into battle mode? What happens to the flexibility?
Start talking from right and wrong. Your flexibility.
Yeah, what happens to your flexibility? The way you react.
Right. Does it expand or does it contract? Let's just put it that way. Right?
And so let's go back to it. Well, it's not really very advanced, though.
No.
We're doing sort of, Phil and I oftentimes think of this as a martial art, a verbal aikido kind of thing. Okay. And so when we hear this kind of conversation showing up, our verbal aikido comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly. And we're going to try and flex it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to try to flex the conversation. And the way we're going to flex the conversation is to quickly establish a different way of having the conversation toward, I can't repeat this enough. We're going to talk about who's important to us and what's our shared purpose.
Right.
Then Phil's got it down. We're going to put those down. We're not going to do anything else before we do that. We're just not. That would be essentially we're getting in our stance.
Yeah. We're getting in a ready and respectful stance to have a conversation.
Right. And we're going to be very respectful about it. Right. Very. So how to have a collaborative political conversation? Okay. Anybody? How do you do that? Well, it should be how to start a collaborative political conversation.
Yeah, how to begin. How to begin.
Now, we just reviewed it, so let's review really quick.
First,
don't start is my strategy.
Yeah, well, that could be a worthy strategy depending on.
Strangely enough, though, I feel very obligated to get into political conversations.
Yeah, we've been leaning into this a bit lately. If you haven't been paying attention to it,
you haven't been paying attention. I lean pretty hard into it.
We're leaning in now.
Right, hard.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not leaning into them. But we're leaning into them with psychological flexibility,
ready and respectful way.
Right. So, if you're going to start one,
what would
formally? Yes.
Yes. See how that worked? We both kind of said it almost at the same time.
We did.
Yes.
And we're, however we managed to get it to
by
show
hook or
up,
by crook, formally, informally, setting a balloon up,
informal, whatever, it's going to show up.
Yeah.
That's getting a little toward like the ninja stuff. Of how we can slip it in.
Yeah, your first crack at this, you wouldn't probably be doing that.
Let's do it formally.
Yeah,
I would say something like this. I would say, if I'm not polished at this yet, so I would say something like, you know what? I've been watching this. You can call it a podcast.
Yeah.
Because people know what a podcast is. I've been watching this podcast, and these guys have this really cool diagram. Yeah, really cool way of looking at things. About having political, even political conversations. It's really cool. At least I've found it helpful. You want to see it? Almost everybody want to see it. Then you can just show it to you. And then boom, do it. And I might do it that way. Phil might do it that way.
I would absolutely do it that way.
Right. I mean, however, we've all been in enough situations to know that every once in a while, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You just can't get that to happen. So then you got to go more informal.
Right.
And then it would be something to the tune of like, when I have conversations like this, I found it most helpful for myself to start with who's important to us. Because I really am interested in who's important to you and who's important to me. And that's sort of where I go from. So that would be a more informal. Notice I'm not putting up the things. I'm just starting with that conversation. And then going, and if it's politics and if I can't do the other, I say something like, sheesh, I think rule 101 in all of this is to start with shared purpose. What's our shared purpose? We probably need to have a conversation about that first. There's not very many people that can argue with you.
Yeah. You're not going to get a no from that.
They're just not going to get a no. Not even from a ultra supporter of the other side, whichever side you're on. They're going to go, okay, yeah, that's right. We have a shared purpose.
Yeah.
And then you start from there. And so that's why we emphasize those two openings. So, but 9 times out of 10 or more, I'm going to show the whole matrix. I'm just going to do the whole thing. Why? Because then later on, I can use the whole diagram to do verbal aikido.
Come back to it.
Right. I can come back to
it up so you can come back to it.
Do the sorting and stuff like that. Right. But how to have collaborative political conversations is, now, I am sure there's a million different ways to have collaborative political conversations.
Yeah.
Phil and I don't teach those.
So,
We teach this one. Well, we teach this one. And so it's what we do, but it will give you a form for doing it. And I think a lot of people go into this, Phil, and they suddenly think, oh my God, I need to do something else.
Well, yeah, because I think what happens, Kevin, is we have these minds that like to complicate things.
Yeah, yeah. And,
I couldn't possibly just go in there with that kind of simple way of looking at things, and there's fear that shows up, I think, for people.
Yeah.
About that.
Well, so much fear, a lot of people don't even get
yeah, right. And it's so much that they won't even throw it out.
Now, somebody said the way you react to respond. Right. So I'm responding with flexibility. To go back, Phil's responding with flexibility.
Yeah.
We're not going to respond with inflexibility. No. We're going, whatever we're going to respond with is flexibility. But the easiest way to do that is to come back with and present the point of view. Political conversation by its nature, well, what are politics about?
Those of you who may have dabbled or studied or
what's important? Exactly right. I mean, a lot of people, oh, I hate politics. Well, that's too bad since you live inside of them.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's really, you're saying, well, I hate what I live inside of. Well, that's not cool. That's not cool. Let's go have a conversation. So it's about what's important. Politics are, it's about how we're going to govern ourselves as a collective. Now it is a we. Politics is about we.
That common ground that we
common ground. It's about common ground. And then how are we going to manage working toward that common ground? And then, of course, then it explodes from there because there's a huge conversation. But it always comes back, or it comes from the common ground.
Right. And Kevin just mentioned that it's about having a conversation. Coming from this point of view is really simply about having a conversation, as opposed to trying to get somewhere with somebody.
We're not trying to win. We're not trying to solve. What do you hate? What's important about that? Yeah. Nice opening. I like it. Didn't want to have your wits about you with that opening.
Yeah.
That'd be like opening with your knight in a chess game.
Yeah, right.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah. taking your queen out and running around the board with it, right?
Yeah. Be careful, but but it's a nice opening. I
Yeah.
see your point.
You can go and try that out, Andrew, and see.
Go and try it out.
See
See
how
how
it
it works. Right. Yeah, that's yes, definitely. But because the reason being is because of the relational frame, we know it's going to relate to also what they like.
Right.
What you hate is directly attached to what you like. So what's important to you. So,
this side's attached to this side, vice versa.
Right, they're attached together. So you can flip it and get to the other side.
Oh yeah.
That way. So that's what I meant by you'd want to have your wits about you. Just know that's what you're up to. Have the matrix clearly in your head when you're doing that. So how do you do it? It's actually very simple, and we could have presented it at any time, but you ask people to have a conversation about who and what's important to us and what's our shared purpose. That's how you have a collaborative political conversation. That is how you do it. And you don't try and win the conversation.
Nope.
So many people are about winning the conversation, as if you're going to change somebody's mind on the spot.
Yeah, or
they're going to see the error of their ways and change their mind right before you. You weren't planning on changing yours. I guarantee you they weren't planning on changing theirs either.
Minds don't change.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's better just if you can get that win, but once again, that's back to the win-lose.
Yep.
I'm going to win this and this person's going to lose this. And those they go into a battle, and then for the battle, it just doesn't work out. But instead, to gradually find out who's important and what's our shared purpose. And then we can have different ideas about how to accomplish the shared purpose. That's fine.
Rest of the conversation.
There's nothing wrong. Absolutely, there should be different opinions about how to accomplish a shared purpose. Absolutely. But now let's also go back to somebody noted what's almost never asked, and even if it's asked, it's too short a conversation.
Right.
And it's the shared purpose, the common ground.
What are we here for? What is this all about?
So I've noticed it sort of kind of get asked, and then it gets dropped.
Yeah, it's asked once, and then they never come back to it.
And then they don't come back to it or whatever.
Because
and that's the most important conversation we can have, folks. That's the one. Everybody needs to stop and have that conversation for the next 6 months.
And keep coming back to it.
From my point of view, that would be the way you sort of you get on better ground out of this ground that we're in now in the United States, worldwide, is just like everybody cool it and let's have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And we just keep coming back to that shared purpose conversation, because that's politics. Politics is shared purpose. It just is. Politics is not, I get everything I want and you get nothing. That's not politics.
Nope. So someone brought up the word compromise here.
Right. Politics is about two or more people deciding how they're going to govern themselves.
Yep.
That's politics.
Yep.
And it's political discourse. Yep. You have that. But the first thing you need to establish is a shared purpose.
Yep.
Common ground. Shared purpose. And it's not very well established right now. It's barely established.
We are, whew, man.
I mean, it's way out there. Phil and I, by the way, in case you folks don't know, folks on the call, we've been saying for years that you can go into any business, and if you just have a conversation with the people in the room about what's the common purpose, what's the shared purpose of the business, and that's all you do, you will have done the business a great service.
Yep.
And they'll tell you later on that you did them a great service. Because almost no businesses have a clear idea of shared purpose. They really don't. I mean, they may be succeeding, but they still don't have a very good idea of shared purpose. Well, then you take that out onto the country level. So everybody go and have conversations about who's important to you and shared purpose.
That's our call to action today.
Yeah, it really is. And don't try to win the conversation. It's interesting to hear what other people's ideas of shared purpose are.
Yeah.
How easy is that? It's actually pretty damned easy. It really is. It's not hard. And especially when you pull the pressure of winning off of it.
Yeah. Takes it off of you.
Right. And now you can feel that flexibility showing up. Right. It's not pure flexibility because you are engaging in the conversation instead of just avoiding it. So you're having the conversation, but you're not trying to win the conversation. You're just trying to have the conversation. Yeah. Right. And if you keep just having those conversations with folks, well, I don't make guarantees very often, but I guarantee some cool stuff will show up.
Well, even like what we did today, like we said, like if you're having the conversation and you're respecting the other position, you're compromising, you're looking calm, and people are logically explaining, you think that might help us move closer to a shared purpose if we did those things. What do you think? Anybody want to weigh in?
Now, what will
What
will probably happen is this, folks. You may ask the shared purpose question, and given what I've seen, people won't answer your question.
Yeah.
They'll change it off into some win-lose thing. I hate I hate my politician or your politician or whatever. Yeah. Whatever. They just change the topic. And you could get hooked and go with that.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could say, but the question I asked was
I hear what you're saying, but the question that I asked
I hear what you're saying. I get that. However, what I'm really interested in is shared purpose. I think that's a really good place to start from. Let's start there and just keep coming back there. And that's part of it. So it's not going to be a free ride, folks. You won't get a free ride.
This is a bumpy ride. This is not a smooth ride.
You're going to ask the question and people are going to go darting off.
Yeah.
Right.
So you gently bring them back.
For a myriad of reasons.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care why. I don't care why they go darting off. No. I'm not going to judge them. Whatever. They just do. Okay.
Yep.
Let them dart and then bring them right back
around. Bring them back around.
Right. And I do say, folks, this is probably what Mr. Rogers would do.
Oh.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you want to get to it, it's probably what he would do. It's like keep coming back to what's the shared purpose. How can we all be our better angels together?
Yep. How can we take care of our neighborhood?
Right. How do we do that? That's the important conversation. Let's have that conversation first. And that's the idea. So you are all deputized to go off and have these shared purpose conversations. And by the way, notice if you watch TV or watching other people have discourse and watch how they're probably, whatever they're doing, they're usually having a win-lose conversation.
Set up for a battle.
It's set up for a battle. It's set up for win-lose. And there's many artful people who really want to change the conversation to that win-lose conversation. Somebody said, look calm.
Yes.
So here you go. You look calm. And you go right back to the shared purpose conversation. I don't think we could go wrong with that if we just kept doing that for the next year.
Certainly wouldn't make anything any worse. That's it. We wouldn't add any more inflexibility to the situation.
Right. We can have that conversation a whole lot for a whole year. And still not have had enough. So get back to that. And why is it? People's egos get involved. And the way people defend their egos gets involved.
Yep.
And it's not about your ego. It's about everybody making it so we all can live, get along and do things. Politics is about we. Politics is the pro-social matrix. And,
they're one and the same.
It's one and the same, right? It is. So we did one the other day on something in the Constitution.
Demagogues,
the Constitution, and the pro-social matrix.
Right.
So in this case, we're saying politics, political discussions are we conversations. How are we going to govern ourselves?
Yeah.
And but you can go take a political science class somewhere and learn about all the different ways of people govern themselves and such. But here in the United States, we have a constitution and it's sort of mapped out.
Yep. Which in and of itself is a compromise, right? That's what it is.
Oh my God, there's a huge compromise.
It's a document of compromises.
Right. Yeah. But on this one, just have the shared purpose. So there we go. That's how you do it. Phil. So part of this is about simplicity, and this is just what Phil and I do.
Right.
So we will go back to that. Sometimes being simple is hard.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah, you got to take a deep breath, just like Phil just did.
Right. And then maybe take another one.
And then back to shared purpose.
Here we go.
Back over
back
to
in.
All right.
Notice in the middle.
Stay in the groove and notice your hooks and get back to that. So that's the power of this. So let's see. Are we going to be here this Wednesday, Phil?
We don't have anything on the schedule, but I don't see anything that would prevent
it. We'll schedule up another one in the intermediate class.
Yeah,
in the meantime, you want to rush down and click that green button and get your ninja level training. And do that. We'll show you how to do this standing on your head, patting your belly. Working in anywhere,
swiftly moving in and out of situations.
But in the meantime, we'll do
an intermediate
sorting or verbal Aikido.
Yeah, we're going to do sorting right
on Wednesday. And I'll send out an email to that and all that good stuff. And here we go.
There you go.
Have a great Monday.
Take care. Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah, bye-bye. Where are we?